guys, you are not seeing things. There's a ton of stuff to unbox here. All the big guns out. Serio's over here to witness everything. I've got some Johnny Walker Blue, some Redbreast 27, and some Digestif, some Montenegro there. Also got some other bits and pieces in the background. Yeah, ton of watches, a lot of stuff to get through. I'm gonna unbox the Tudor right now. Then the next video, Rolex, and then an Audemars Piguet with a support act, because it's such a big concert, that one. We need a good support act of a limited edition Seiko I just picked up. So let's get straight to the Tudor, but before we do that, we want a little drinky winky. I just had a very large meal, ate way too much, and I think I need a digestif. What is a digestif? It helps you digest, as opposed to an aperitif, which gets your appetite going. A digestif is the other end of the meal, and this is one of my favorites. It's a Montenegro. I'm sure you've seen it behind the bar of many Italian restaurants, and I just find it to be very agreeable. What's all this stuff that came off the top? It's been a while since I opened this. I actually enjoy a Montenegro with a cigar sometimes, especially during the summer. I chill Montenegro. Not everybody does, but I like it chilled. And of course, drinking a whiskey or a rum, ideally a rum, with a cigar is all about cooling the palate. When the cigar begins to kind of heat up your tongue too much, you cool off the palate with a nice rum, chilled rum. But I kind of like a Montenegro sometimes. A rum can be a lot sometimes, so, and maybe I don't have a great rum lying around, although I usually do, let's face it. But Montenegro is a cheap alternative to great rums. It's sweet, just like great rums, and goes down easy, and usually you're having a cigar after dinner, right? So a digestif goes well, so hopefully this is gonna stop me from feeling so damn bloated right now. Oh, yummy. Oh, by the way, what am I wearing? I am wearing the classic Submariner date, 40mm, 116610 LN. The classic, the original, and maybe still the best. Just went for traditional today, loving it. It's loosened up a bit now. It was tighter earlier. I love the way my wrist just expands and contracts like that. But yeah, can't go wrong with this. But in some ways, this Tudor suits me more. If you know my channel well, you'll know that this is my other Tudor. And I was never really into Tudor. Their watches were a little thick for me, kind of big, heavy slabs. And let me just put it on. Put you there. Yes, I have the cigars out. I'll probably smoke one later, but not on camera. This is how it looked, because I have big, big wrists. It came out looking fabulous. So I said, I'll take it. And they said, no way. No, they said, yes, but you can't take it right now. You have to give us some time with it, because it was a brand new release, and it's still a very hard watch to get. There's a wait list now, like 6 to 8 months on this watch, which to a Rolex buyer, that seems like nothing, but for a Tudor, that's a long time. These things are trading like 1,000 over retail. Great watch, love it. And definitely suits me more than the Black Bay 58. 58 is a great watch, but not on these puppies, it's not. It looked like a little button. It was tiny on me, but a great diver. You just need to be a smaller chap to wear one. So I think I finally found the perfect regular Tudor for me. The BQ Watches show, the Winter Watch Fair, Spencer Dryer in London. Great guy, great store. And they had an event in London back in November, and I was trying on everybody's watches. You know, fans are coming up to me, taking photos and all of that, chatting about their watches, and in many cases having me try on their watch. And I tried on a lot of great watches. And one chap had this. I said, do you mind if I try that on? It looks really nice. And I put it on and I was like, oh, there it is. There it is. That's what I need. That's the Tudor for me. There's been a lot of chatter going around that I'm kind of a Tudor guy. I'm a bit scruffy and unshaven and I'm burly and stuff. And that Tudor maybe is more me than Rolex or Omega or maybe AP. You can be the judge of that in one of the following videos. For a long time, Tudor had the stigma of being the poor man's Rolex. That is no longer the case and hasn't been for a while. Tudor have their own look, their own identity, and the Tudor guy is not the same guy as a Rolex guy. He's got the 5 o'clock shadow, he's got ripped jeans, he's got cowboy boots, he's probably got a big Triumph motorcycle, he's got tobacco breath, he's got a bigger dick. Anyway, I went for this one. I was over with Spencer at BQ Watches there in Radlett, outside of London. Great guy, great place. Go check out his store. That guy has so many amazing watches. And I saw it. I was like, oh my God, I just tried on one of these watches over the weekend. One of the fans had it and I put it on and it shocked me. Guys, you really have to try a watch on to know if a watch suits you or not. All the staring at photos you do online isn't going to help that in any way. You might fall in love with a watch, but a watch may not love you. It may not suit you in any way. You've got to put a watch on your wrist. And if you can, bring a friend or the wife or the girlfriend or someone who knows you and knows your style and can tell you whether the watch suits you or not. It's a great thing to try on a watch and then you realize, maybe in the photos it didn't speak to you at all, but on the wrist, in the flesh, it's a totally different thing. So he had this and I said, give me it. He had the Harrods as well, which is a limited edition. Most people would have gone for that one. I could have taken any watch I wanted, but obviously purchasing from him. He's not giving me a watch for free or anything. But I didn't. I just said I'm going to go for the classic. The classic, as what's his name, Walter White would say from Breaking Bad, classic Coke. What I'm making is classic Coke. And there she is. There's classic. Reference 79230N. This is the Black Bay Heritage. The regular one, not the 58. But also not the previous one, the smiley as they call it, because it has a line of text on the dial that goes like that, like a little smiley face. That one had an ETA movement. This one has their in-house movement, the MT5602. And with that, their watches got a tiny bit thicker and somewhat cooler because it's all in-house. The gold detailing and that red 12-hour marker up there. This is cattivo, as the Italians would say. This is evil. It's bad. It's evil. It's angry. It's cattivo. And just look at those hands. This is one great thing I noticed also on the Black Bay 58 Blue. If you want to see that video, I'll leave a link in the description below. And on the chrono as well, is that the hands grab the light. They catch the light really nicely. And this one does it too. One of my favorite things in a watch. This is such a muscular watch. Tudor are simply that. As much as we may love our Rolex and our Omegas and various other things, there is no arguing with the masculinity of a Tudor watch. I'm gonna pop this over just to get this stuff out. So here you have the card. Excuse me, that's the card. And these things, it's funny with these because they scan these on their app. All the new cards, they register the watch as purchased under your name in their system using an app on their iPhone. I've actually seen that happen in the Rolex store, and it's the same app. If anybody has any doubts about them being sister companies, it's the exact same app on their iPhone, and they place the thing on it and it registers, and they just select from the app they select whether it's Rolex or Tudor. So there you go. That removes all doubt as if there were any in the first place. On the back here we have, I'm just going to cover that with my finger, my serial number, just the date. This is from 2020, and that's it. Simple as that. If this were a Rolex card, it would have, of course, the gold around the edge, but this is red and black, so it's, you know, definitely cattivo. You have the hang tag. Actually, that's a BQ watches hang tag, swing tag. And then, of course, the Tudor little swing tag there, and some extra pins and some extra links. Pretty normal stuff. Surprising to see links come out of a watch on my wrist. Normally with Rolexes, it's pretty much all links on to make it fit. But goes to show the Tudors are built for the real men. No crown guards at all, and of course the Tudor rose symbol there, and high gloss sides and satin surfaces on the front. This is what Rolex tend to like to do. They do high gloss flanks and satin fronts. Faux rivets, of course, that's the bone of contention for most people. These rivets here are just there for show. They actually don't serve any purpose other than the aesthetic. And of course, this beastly clasp, the famous Tudor clasp, big monster, comes away nicely. You don't really pick a Tudor clasp like this with your finger like you do with a Rolex clasp. It comes away just kind of pulling it like that. I've actually seen people do it like this too. They push up there and it goes away. This part here is reminiscent of the old Daytonas, the ones from the noughties, the 116523s and so on, with that hole there and so on, and this sloping shape and the kind of slender parts here. This is a fully milled out clasp, as you can see. There is no quick release or glide lock or anything. You just have these little anchor points that you can get in there and resize, but there's no on the fly resizing. That's a shame. They should do something about that. The case back, extremely dull and simple. Very Rolex style as well. There's no point in putting anything there, in their opinion. No one's going to see it. It's going to be on your wrist. One thing I love about this bracelet is that the end links don't protrude out. In fact, if anything, the lugs protrude, which I love. That reminds me of my vintage Speedmaster, and it means that it doesn't add any width to the watch at all. This is 50 mils from end to end, so any more length in that regard would make the watch, wear very, very differently. 50 mils is bordering on very large. It's a thick watch. They're not slim against the wrist. They've actually improved it slightly on the new Black Bay Chrono. They slimmed it down and they pushed the dial closer up and kind of made the crystal more bulbous, if you can see that there. So it's a slightly slimmer watch, but still a chunky watch, that as well. So tell me that doesn't suit me. I mean, on my wrist, it's perfect. This looks like what the Black Bay 58 looks like on most people, but that watch is just a little too small. This is the right fit for me. Sometimes you just have to try the watches on before you know if they're going to suit you. And I love the fact that it's black. I could have gone for the Harrods, and of course there's one with a kind of a burgundy red bezel. These are all very attractive watches, but there's just something about the classic black that I loved. And the gold with black and that red accent is just beautiful. I have my little U light here. Just give it a burst of UV. That's all the luminova needs. And look at that. Impressive. Very, very bright. Of course, it's green, so it's super luminova. It's not chromolite that they use over at Rolex. but it's still really nice lume. Look at the way the steel catches that low light. The way the hands catch the light too. Very, very nice. Again, a chunky watch, but not overly chunky for me. As long as you keep the bracelet a proper fit, it sits sturdy. Sturdy is the word. There's the right word. It's a sturdy watch. So there we have it, guys. One last look there at this puppy on my wrist. Look at that. I really feel like I've found the perfect Tudor for me. Go over to BQ Watches. Spencer will take care of you over there, or any of the other guys or gals. They also have the lovely Ilda and Kaylee, and they're all super experts and know exactly what they're doing and will back up any watch they sell to you. I have to say, I love going over there and watch shopping. So anyway, there it is. I'm going to move on to a Rolex next. That's going to be the following video. If you like this video, go over and click on that one. I'm going to do an Oyster Perpetual. So for now, it's cheers, over and out. Thanks for watching the Timeless Watch channel. Cheers, guys.
What I'm making is classic Coke.